Alexei Bichenok may be the biggest threat here. He's fifth currently in this year's world rankings. Marcel Hug of Switzerland leads the way there. David Weir, there he is, number 324 on his back. He's won 6 IPC world titles on the track and the winner of 6 Paralympic titles as well. Jorge Madera of Spain, starting on the outside. Went out in the heats in the 5,000 metres last year. There's the great Heinz Frey, 11 Paralympic athletic gold medals all the way back to 1984. Now 58 years old. Ivan Goncharov of Russia went out in the heats last year of the 5,000 metres. There's David Weir, Commonwealth champion, silver medalist. Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon, he was 7th in the 5,000 metres last year, but by his own admission, not in prime form. Julien Casserly of France, 6th in the 5,000 metres in Doha, ahead of Weir. Tobias Lurcher of Switzerland. Ebbie Blichfeldt of Denmark, 7th in last year's 5,000 in the 5,000 metres in Swansea a couple of years ago. Alexander Gansai of Russia won bronze in wheelchair half marathon in an international meeting in Seoul last year. Alessandro Balde of Germany. He took silver in the European Championships a couple of years ago, and completing the lineup, the Russian Bichenok, who I told you about, 6th in the 5,000 metres in Doha last year, and got a 200 metres bronze medal to add to that. So a big favourite to take the gold medal here, David Weir. And somewhere his principal rivals who are going to be watching out with one eye, of course, on Rio. Marcel Hug, fastest man in the world this year, world champion from last year, European champion from 2 years ago. The brilliant Thai athletes, Rawat Tana and Chachonsak Tamsafon, Kurt Fernley of Australia, and others, of course. They're all going to be keeping a look here to see what Weir can do. And Weir, of late, has looked as though he is getting right back to his very best form. As they come around now in the dark shadow in front of the main stand, going around now in bright sunlight. The temperature something like 25, 26 degrees here. It's pretty much ideal, and the stiff breeze from earlier on has dropped. All about in these long distance races, tactics about keeping yourself in contention without expending too much in the early stages, and the pace over the first 400 metres or so pretty funereal, and nobody really wants to take it out, so it's going to be about the burn up in the closing stages.
David Weir would have been quite disappointed with that 7th place in the 5,000 metres. There were some incredible results in that T54. There's terrific strength and depth in it right across the distances. Julien Casserly, great experience. He's been winning major championships since 2006, but it's one of the things about wheelchair racing that even if we don't have the likes of Marcel Hug or all of the non-European athletes that you've been listing out, and there's a lot of them, John, it's still an immensely strong field. They're all much medalled at European and major global level down through the years. It includes Casserly, who won bronze in this at London 2012, and Weir, of course, with all those successes at those championships.
Well, it's the two fellas who I reckon could be his biggest danger here today, who are sharing the pacemaking, being tracked by David Weir in 3rd place. Distinctive figure on the track with those tattooed biceps. Moving now into 2nd place, Julien Casserly leading the way. You saw a little bit of pacemaking being made by the blue-vested Alexei Bichenok. Weir absolutely where he wants to be at that stage, and Balde, the German, has moved through into 3rd place. Balde, who was the silver medalist a couple of years ago, very, very experienced performer himself, and he's run close to the 10-minute mark in the past, which is kind of the benchmark for truly top-class top-class competition at this 5,000 metres when they're flat out. David Weir, the fastest in the field, with a personal best of 9:53.15. The world record is set by Marcel Hug. Set that on the Swiss track of Arbon back in 2010, 9:53.05. They can forget about times here. It's about tactics and about who's going to be prepared to take it out and whether or not there is going to be an influx of pace. And it looks as though it is quickening slightly here.
The interesting thing is that Weir moved aside at the front, and for a while nobody wanted to go out there, and it was the Swiss Lutcher who decided to take it out a little bit. Manu finished 13th in the World Championship Marathon as part of the London Marathon last year, but he was 24th in the 5,000 metres last year. Very good results in the last Euros in Swansea. Finished 6th in the he finished 5th in the 5,000 metres, and he may consider himself a really good prospect here again. Bichanok and Ganzai, there are 3 Russians in this. Goncharov, the other one. We've seen a lot of his wife Margarita Goncharova so far this week, as we did in London 2012. Slight little gap emerging at the front, but I'm not really sure they want to be out there at the moment, but nobody really else wants to pick up the pace.
Weir is in 4th place at the moment, not really wanting to put anything into the pacemaking so far, just running tactically off the pace being set by those ahead of him, and again nobody really wanting to take it on. And it's going to be Alessani Bolde of Germany, I think, who moves through a little bit reluctantly to take up the lead. Didn't really want to know, did he? And the pace is slowing slightly, and the field, as you can see, bunching up once more. Bolde leads the way, and Weir is right up there where he wants to be, following that pace and nicely poised in second.
Yeah, Bolde is a really interesting character. He moved to Germany with his family when he was only 9 months old. Basically a life-saving operation. He stayed based there. His uncle and aunt were living in Dusseldorf, and now quite successful for Germany. 1,500, 5,000 silver medal in 2014. I don't know about the prospects of a German gold medal here, but I know in the field they're very strong.
Well, we're going to come back to this shortly, but we're also keeping up with the long jumps.
David Weir hitting the front with 6 laps to go in this men's 5,000 metres T54 final. Bolde keeping his position in 2nd place. Cassily's up there on the outside as well in 3rd. And moving inside, Heinz Frey, what a competitor he's been down through the years. 1984, the Paralympic Games in New York, the last one not to be held in the Olympic City. He medalled in that when he was a youngster, and loads of medals in hand cycling in the last few years as well. He's up there in the inside in the top 4, top 5 as one of the 2 Swiss in it. But Weir is having to do a lot more work than, I don't know, maybe he wants to at the moment, where he is in 3rd.
The white-vested Julian Cassily, the leader as they come round to the straight once more, being tracked by Alessani Bolde. Then comes Weir, who's not done any pacemaking really so far, just tucked into the slipstream of Bolde and going very, very easily, just looking around over his shoulder to see where the rest are. Bachanok's in contention as well. Number 618 right on the shoulder for Marcus Rem, 790.
So Germany in front in the long jump. Germany in front at the moment in the form of Alessane Balde with 4 laps to go in the men's 5,000 metres. You'll have noticed Steffi Neri is a very familiar face coaching Rem and the sidelines there. The IAAF Javelin World Champion 2009 and home soil in Berlin. But there's not going to be, I would think, a home victory in this. Whereas kept off the pace a little bit. Cassily's had to do loads of work. Balde's really been to the fore in a way that, again, he wouldn't have thought would have been possible. And the same with the Swiss. Lutcher's made a bit of a move in the front. He's putting a little bit of pace here as well.
Well, he certainly injected some pace here and testing out the rest of the field, whose response is pretty much instantaneously. It's Balde who leads the pursuit. Fourth place is David Weir now, still looking strong and still to contribute to the pacemaking at the front. Lutcher of Switzerland, 37 years old, as they go through this time with 3 laps to go. Balde in second, Weir in fourth.
Lutcher and Balde Both doing very well up there in the top two. Ware and Casserly floating around third and fourth. A bit of movement coming in on the inside as well. And it's interesting to see the veteran Swiss Fry, who's keeping a good position up in the top half. But again, Balde finding himself in second place behind Locha. Two men who are putting a huge amount of work in here. It's interesting how a lot of the field, instead of taking their normal turn at the front, have elected not to do so. Ware has made a position. He's gone to the outside. He's looking to pounce. And when they pass the line next, it'll be 2 laps to go.
They're looking anxiously over their shoulder. Lurch's break was not decisive, just feeling them out, seeing what they've got left. Balde is in second place, moving onto his shoulder, being tracked all the way by Weir, and the veteran Swiss Heinz Fry in there as well, tracking Lurcher. But it's Lurcher who leads from Balde, and Balde now is looking to take it up as they now have 700 metres to go, and Weir tracking him all the way and looking very, very composed and controlled. Lurcher on the inside, Balde now just hits the front, and now Weir just has to work a little bit harder as Beechenok comes round on the outside and wants to take it up, and Weir is trying to track him and is responding as they come into the straight now for the penultimate time.
Yes, Ware and Casserly making a move just behind Beechenok, who's also been involved in the 208, takes the bell, and it's Balde who comes through in second place. We're in third, Casserly 4, and those 4 beginning to break away.
It looks as though it's between those 4 for medals, maybe as we expected. Beechenok, the Russian, has the lead down the back straight. Then comes Lurcher, and then comes Weir, who's starting to improve now. And here he comes making his challenge. 2:50 to go, and Weir is in the ideal position. Balde is boxed, and he's not in a good place. He's right behind the long-time leader, Beechenok, as they come around now towards the straight. And Weir hits the front for the first time. The Paralympic champion is up against Beechenok. Beechenok ranked 5th in the world, but he can't live with the finishing power of Weir, who takes the goal. Beechenok second, close for third. That David Weir, the time is not a quick one, 11:15.96, but it was a tactical masterclass. He just pounced, picked them off when he had to, hit the front as the final bend approached, and when they came down the straight, as Beechenok tried to rally the Russian, who's right up there in the world rankings, he couldn't do so, and it is another major championship gold medal for David Weir, who at the age of 37 is looking as though he is getting right back into his very best form, and this is the point at which he begins to make his move.
4,600 laps, 4,600 metres of not very much, and then 400 metres of pure racing. Beechenok taking it away at the bell. Balde going with him, who's been up around the top 3 or 4 every day. But look at Weir on the outside. Casserly trying to get further behind. He's finding himself behind Weir. Still Beechenok defending his line very well indeed in lane 1, but knowing that Weir is on his shoulder, moving with every stride on the outside. Casserly had too much to do at this stage. You knew what Casserly's idea was, but he also knew what Weir was going to do. Went ahead in the final 50, lots of pace and power, and he couldn't have paced that any better himself. Second for Beechenok, third is Balde, fourth is Julien Casserly, and David Weir has done it again.
Outstanding performance, and you call there spot on. Balde given second place, less than a second behind Weir, and 0.04 of a second ahead of Julien Casserly, who takes the bronze. David Weir, after the Paralympics, well, he eased back on competition a bit, but he was always insistent, never ever write me off, and he is trying to peak at absolutely the right time.